Good evening, everybody. I'm your host, Wendell Hurricane Burrows, and this is Barry Robertson and BC Davis. My other guests and co-hosts may not make it tonight. They've had several different issues. They're going to try to be on here tonight, and we'll just go from there and make the best of it. And BC's got some activity he was just showing me. I don't know if he's at liberty to talk about it yet or not
Oh
tonight.
yeah, I can
Okay.
talk about it. It's like I said, it's an area called Lost End, which is between Bradford and Pleasant Plains, Arkansas. I think he just got those photographs today.
Wow.
He said he didn't look like anyone slipped, and there's no claw marks, so I'd say they're too wide to be human. But when you step in sand, things can spread out. But it didn't look, I mean, normally you have like those little. And I'm sure there's a term for it, but like ripples, if you squish sand out and I don't see any of that. Like it just made that direct pressure and that was it.
Right.
And I doubt too many people are going to be walking barefoot around any snake holes like that. At least nobody with any sense.
I wouldn't.
No, absolutely not.
No.
I mean, I literally got that between the time you told me that you were backstage,
Huh.
and I mean, all of a sudden I started getting those in, and I'm like, I immediately forwarded them to you. So more stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm here looking at them. Is it all right if I can figure out how to post them, or you want to
Oh,
wait
sure.
about it?
No, go ahead.
Looks like I have to do one at a time. It may take me a little bit. So what's been going on around over with you, Barry? I seen you had a video of the deer that just disappeared behind a tree. It looked like that's weird.
I put that up there. I was trying to offer a rational explanation for these stories you hear where people claim Bigfoot jumped through a portal or just disappeared, or, like I
Right.
said, hits the ride on a UFO or whatever. That
Yeah, sorry
deer
about that.
walks. What's that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I had to send him something else. I sent Wendell another picture. That's a still from a video I shot at the lake 2 years ago, last May.
Oh yeah, the picture.
Yeah, I think I may have sent that to you before, but I wasn't certain, so I went ahead and sent it to you.
All righty. Yeah, that just shows you how quick something can disappear or just go. And they're intelligent, so they know if they go the opposite way from the tree that you ain't gonna see them as long as they stay behind that tree.
Right?
That's what I was trying to show people, and I've been met with resistance. We all know deer aren't the smartest animals around. But
Right.
you watch this deer, it turns behind that tree. What it had to do was follow a perpendicular path right behind that tree into that brush, and it just disappeared and blended right in. You'd have swore that deer dropped off the face of the planet, but it's behind that tree.
Had to be, yeah. That was
And I was,
amazing. Good
yeah, I was just
representation.
like I said, I was just trying to put it out there to kind of educate people how well your normal animals can blend in and camouflage themselves. They don't need a portal or a UFO to do it.
No, it can be just naturally as easy as that.
A right hand turn. Now, Tuesday night after I did that last praying and squatching video when I was out in the dark,
Yeah.
I come back outside inside. About 20 minutes later, I was in the house, and I heard the awfulest roar, and I mean it sounded like it was in the house with me. It was that
Huh.
loud, and it set every hair on my body on end and put a chill through me that ain't no other animal call ever done. I mean, you talk about somebody stepped on your grave type of chill. I believe I know what that was. And it was close. I went out and looked for prints and stuff. Next day, didn't see nothing.
Hey, I figured it out. That's the track that BC sent to me a while ago. It's a smaller track.
Yeah, it's not an adult. I wouldn't think. But, I've heard reports, people have talked about seeing what they call Littlefoot or little people, or I'm sure they go by their names, but I've had a couple of people tell me they've spotted those. So, and there was a Dogman track in there. Oh, the same guy sent me those pictures out there hunting 20-something years ago, and they run across a print they couldn't identify. And then after, the internet and everything started coming on, cryptid stuff started coming on, they spotted it, and that was a Dogman print.
Huh. Well, like I was saying, the interesting about you brought up there ain't no claws on it, and it's
right.
Wider than normal human right here by the toes, and there's no pad. It does kind of favor a little bit of the shape of maybe a young bear, but like I said, there's no pad, no claw marks, or so I wouldn't think it was that. And it really ain't when you get up close and see the lighter picture there. You can tell it's not been like you were saying where you slid or nothing, because it's not
right.
It's not smudged or nothing in either direction. It's just a straightforward crack, and it's really wide at the toes.
Yeah, that is wide. So it's not human, at least not to my not in my estimation.
Right, mine neither.
I'm like you. I wouldn't think somebody'd be out. And well, if it was human, you think there'd be more than one. I mean, why would they plant one foot in the sand and move along?
Yeah.
Or how, for that matter.
Be interesting if you find out more information about it and everything.
Well, if I do, I'll certainly pass it along.
Awesome. I was gonna let everybody know we were supposed to be on a Bigfoot meet and greet where everybody could come and camp this weekend. Not exactly investigation, but just to greet everybody. And it seemed like everybody in the team, and my team and Neil's team, something happened. It seems anytime you got something planned, Murphy's Law, if it can go wrong, it will go wrong.
Right.
I see Dale's made it in. Like I was saying earlier before we got on the air here, is that he had tomato plants planted everywhere, and he found that cutworms was trying to eat them up.
Oh, yeah.
You there, Dale?
Yeah, I'm here. You hear me?
Yeah.
Ooh, I rushed to get home.
Yeah, did you find any 7 dust?
No, not a. I couldn't believe it. Walmart did not have 7 dust.
Huh.
I've never seen that before.
And maybe everybody's running into the same problem at one time.
Yep, I have. Oh, they was working it over this morning when I went out there.
I hope you find some. Yesterday they had plenty at Clinton Walmart. That's a long drive.
Yeah, I had a great big old thing of it. I don't know where it went. I have no idea. I bet I know where it's at. I bet it's in my other part of my shop. Yeah, I think I put it in the door. Yeah.
Before we got on here, I was talking with BC. He sent me, I don't know if you can see it or not, there's a picture I got set up here of a track that they found today at, where'd you say that was, BC?
Lost End. It's some area between Bradford and Pleasant Plains.
Huh.
It's a small track, all right, and it's like in the sandbar area, it looks like. But and we was talking. It's really wide at the toes here for it to be the size it is, and I don't think it. Like we said, we don't think it's a bear track because it don't have any claws.
No, I don't have claw marks in it.
But if he gets any more information or more trackway to see where it was coming in or out or something like that, that'd be good to know. He's supposed to pass on the information.
There at the top where the outline's kind of broke just to the right of the lighter.
Yeah.
That could be a mid-torso break.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because that's one thing I noticed that I didn't spot that mid-tarsal break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple like that before. I just now noticed it. I noticed the big toe's a lot bigger than the other ones, but it ain't splayed. Usually, a lot of the pictures I've seen, the big toe's kind of splayed out to one side.
Yeah.
Separated from the others almost with a gap in between them.
Yeah, we found one look like a gorilla print.
Yeah, that's the only one we've ever found it, but we found it several different times.
Had the toe sticking straight out to the side. Crazy.
Hmm.
So I don't know if that's one of the different type of Bigfoots that they call the more gorilla type, or if it's just it's always been on that one side that we saw.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, not all people's feet are the same. Why would all Sasquatch feet be the same?
Right.
True.
And they've all had, who knows if it's been broke or something in a trap, or you never know, deformed, like you said.
Yeah, I never was totally convinced that track was a track. I think it could have been a handprint.
Yeah.
Because we got some big old boys running around up there.
Possible. Well, I mean, like we said, we found it several different times, but if it is, you'd think you'd find a correlating foot track that's about that distance apart from it, but we never have.
Yeah.
Well, that's another thing that happens all the time. You find one or two prints and then nothing.
Yeah.
Where did they go?
Remember we found that whole trackway going up the side of the mountain that one day? Remember you was laying your shotgun down by it and everything?
Yeah, yeah. Boy, that's the only time we found a good trackway.
Yeah, they were going up the side of a steep slope. Boy, they were digging in. They looked good.
I think about the only time I've ever found maybe 3 or 4 in a row. I don't know if that's enough to call a trackway or just a couple sets of print. But it's like I was talking to one lady who wanted to argue with me about the deer video. She said, there's been pictures and videos of them coming out of portals. And she said, I tracked one across a snowway and it went right up to a tree. I said, was there any chance it possibly climbed the tree rather than warped into it or through it or whatever? Yeah. Well, I don't know. It was an old track. I mean, go with the most likely explanation before you start making leaps of logic like portals and whatever.
Yeah. Occam's razors.
We've had it twice that I've seen since we've been Bigfooting. One was up a tree, and both times, both of the times was at area 2, but one is the first time we run into one there. It jumped out of the tree and jumped down off the bluff, and then the next time is when we all pulled up there with Neil, and it was up in the tree, and then it went from tree to tree and then off the bluff. So.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, you haven't seen that until you've seen a 3.5 foot diameter oak tree trunk sway from something jumping out of the top of it. Mm-hmm. That's amazing. And boy, it had to take a lot of weight to do that. Mm-hmm. Have that whole tree trunk move.
Yeah, Dale. I was thinking about Dale that the bottoms are open where. We went last November. Me and a friend rode around down there last Tuesday, I think it was. And it's wide open. Yeah. Went all the way back to where we were at.
Oh, I want to get in there. It may be something I just get a hold of you, Dale, and we drive down there. I don't know exactly
I'd
what.
really like to do a night investigation out that place.
Yeah. Sometime in July after the 4th, probably.
Yeah.
If you're up to it, I'll just contact you. Like, I know my schedule's on Thursday, so I'll just get a hold of you on a Thursday night and say, hey, is this Saturday good?
Yeah, that'll work for me.
Yeah. That's the plan then. Because I definitely want to get back down in there in them bottoms while we can.
I'd like to do a night investigation out there and camp out in that one spot, and I'll even sleep in a tent if y'all want to put all the cameras right on my tent.
Yeah.
That way when it comes to get me, you got one. Barry, did something happen to your hair, bud?
I tried to trim it.
Oh, look like you got your ears lowered there a little bit. I was wondering about that.
Well, like I said, I was trying to just trim it, and I messed up, so I didn't have no choice but to whack it all off.
That's what I usually, when I start messing with this, I might as well forget it because I'm going to end up screwing it up. And then I'll have to cut it off and let it grow back.
Yeah.
That's what I told people. I said, at least next time I cut it, I can't mess it up.
He just told me that there was bits and pieces of let me go back and look, just so I don't misquote that. Okay, there was a bunch of pieces of crawfish by the creek about 150 feet away from those prints.
Something chowing down then, huh?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
That's a possible correlation there in what they was eating. That's kind of like up on the mountain. We found all them snails holes. Everywhere there was a little cave area, they'd be piled up in a big pile. Not, if an animal was doing it, they might be all over the cave. This was piled up at 6-8 inches in a pile of empty snail holes.
Huh.
That's intelligence.
Had a bunch of cats disappeared too, and I found them all in one pile. Every one of their skeletons in one pile.
Yeah, cats.
Looked like something sat down there and ate every one of them.
Here about 3 or 4 years ago here, between us and the neighbors up and down the road, we had about 27 house and farm cats, outdoor cats. All of them, but about 3 disappeared. 20 some odd cats vanished, and I mean, you never found a trace of them, never saw a buzzard circling, nothing. Now, back to, not jumping to conclusions, just about anything can get a cat. I mean, you don't take Sasquatch to kill cats.
I just thought that was kind of unusual, though. It's like finding, there's like 6 cats disappeared all at one time, and all 6 skeletons laying in the same pile.
Yeah.
We're scattered out. They was all just right there in a neat little pile.
Laying in a pile like that is unusual. Like I told them about all the ones that disappeared around here, I said, don't take Sasquatch to pack a cat off. But for 20 some odd of them to disappear in a short period of time, we found it odd.
Something was hunting cats somehow or another. That's the way it was. It was about 2 years ago now. Here was all the dogs that disappeared here in about a 10-mile stretch. It was like over 30 dogs that disappeared. So, and big dogs, little dogs, it didn't matter.
We've got one old stray Tom farm cat now, Smokey. He's a tough customer. And if he disappears, I will blame it on Bigfoot. Because he survived everything else.
Mean sucker.
It ain't his first rodeo.
Anything been going on in any of y'all's areas lately?
Not up here in my area. The last I had was at over here on the creek when we did the podcast that night. I ain't been back.
Yeah, I'd like to go back over there myself, get more than one person.
Yeah.
That's not too far away, is it?
No, it's about 2 miles.
Yeah.
That was me trying to get rid of the picture. I finally figured it out.
Okay.
I'm about to get all this figured out.
Yeah, you do a good job, Winter. I don't think anything's gonna move in the next couple of days.
It's gonna be hot for the
Uh,
next week.
the heat advisory for like 110 tomorrow. I'm not been. I need to change the shocks on my truck. I had a semi run me off the road coming home the other day, and
Wow.
I went down the middle of the freeway doing 75 mile an hour in the grass. Now I actually had to outrun him to get back on the freeway because he wouldn't give me any room to get back on there. He dodged a piece of tire tread and just pulled over in my lane like nobody's business. And boy, I didn't have anywhere to go just off the freeway. But I broke a shock on the front end. I got to get that changed out. But it's gonna be too hot to do it tomorrow.
Definitely. All week looks hot.
Yeah, we don't have a heat advisory, but I was out in it today. Everything said 85, but it felt hotter than 85
Mm-hmm.
when I was out there.
Yeah.
I think it's supposed to be up around 90, 88, 90 tomorrow over here.
Yeah, it got pretty bad warm out there this afternoon.
Yeah.
Today I stayed inside, so I didn't know if it did or not. Well, I did just a while ago. I got back. I'd been out. We went a little bit of fireworks shopping for the 4th, so, but it was hot enough there.
As far as activity, like I said, Tuesday night, that one scream or whatever you want to call it sounded like it was in the house with me.
Wow.
About a week ago, I was cleaning the brush and tree line one side of the yard right there along the fence line between the fence and yard and the woods.
Mm-hmm.
Broad daylight now. I'm out there with a saw and hatchet and clippers. And as I'm doing this, lo and behold, broad daylight, I heard whoop, whoop. Then I heard a handful of tree knocks. I told Mom, I said, I do believe I was being watched. I think anytime you kind of buck the system or throw a monkey wrench in the pattern, anything they're not used to, it stirs them up.
Yep.
I think me clearing that tree line like that, sawing branches off and stuff, like I told her, I said, I might have even ticked them off. They might not like me out there hacking down part of their house.
Yeah, you never know. But yeah,
like I would like to be able to see further than 20 foot past the house window too. So
we've had times that we were just sitting there around the fire and been hearing calls. But then as one vehicle would come in or one leave, depending, we'd get whoops from different spots, depending on if the vehicle was coming in or if the vehicle was going out. That was interesting. We had that on 2 different occasions. One of the occasions was when Marcus got hit with that infrasound, got so sick at night.
Well, then I can't remember if this was since we talked or not. I was out in the front yard one day, just walking through the yard, down in the holler across the road from the house. It distinctly sounded like somebody was yelling. Almost sounded like they were saying help.
Mm-hmm.
And down there where it was coming from, I bet you dollars and donuts there ain't nobody down there.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's no man's land down in there. Thick and just nobody goes down in there. It's neighbor's property. He don't go down in there, neither does anybody else. I told Mom, I said, I wasn't going down there to find out who was hollering for help.
That's kind of like that area that's here by me on the Catherine here. It's about 3 to 5 miles square. There ain't nobody been in there. I mean, the property's all joined from the outside edge of it, but that area, the roads are even growed up that goes down in there. So they ain't been nobody in there since the 30s. So
that's this. This is straight forest. There ain't no roads back there. On foot or horseback's the only way you can get down in there. And I mean, it's thick and woolly, and why anybody be down there at 3 o'clock in the afternoon hollering for help? And they only done it 2 or 3 times. It was almost like when they saw I wasn't coming, they quit.
Yeah.
And I can't swear that it was saying who or whatever it was hollering for help. It could have been hay or something. But like I said, it was just weird.
Well, if you go down there looking for them, take your camera with you.
Oh, yeah.
Might get a chance to get a good picture.
Nothing else, leave the camera running. That way you'll know what happened to me.
Yeah. It's like how famous you'd be, though.
Oh, yeah. That's what one of my friends joked was, you're going to become famous as the guy Bigfoot packed off. Be like that guy back in the 30s or 40s up in British Columbia. The real famous story. One picked him up, sleeping bag and all, over the shoulder and packed. I can't remember his name. Anybody that's ever read a Bigfoot book knows who I'm talking about, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've read that.
They supposedly kept him captive for 3 or 4 days, and the adult male got in his chewing tobacco and ate it and made him sick, and that gave him a chance to make a break for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember
well,
that now that you brought that part up. Yeah.
That was snuff, wasn't it?
Snuff or tobacco one.
It's some kind of tobacco product. I remember it being on well,
Like I said, it's a famous story. It's been in all the books, on all the shows. I
Yep.
can't remember the guy's name. Saved my life. It's supposed to happen to him.
What did you think about them? Those videos I sent you. Those
I ain't
links.
got a chance to watch them yet.
Oh, those are good. Those are good.
I listened to Sasquatch Chronicles the other night twice at about Fort Hood. It was pretty good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Thomas is supposed to be headed up to the place at Port Chaffee or Port something or other in Alaska this week.
Chatham? Is that?
Chatham, yeah.
Port Chatham.
Chatham, yeah.
That's the
waiting.
town Bigfoot supposedly ran everybody off.
Yep. That'll be interesting to hear. He said he's got new cameras and stuff he's going to. And Robert, BC's buddy, he's got new cameras. He's got a chest camera now and a one to go on his back. So when he goes out,
Like a GoPro.
yeah,
Yeah. I think I saw something about him mentioning that the other day.
I've always said that's the best time to get video is behind you when you're walking out of an area because they think you're leaving and whatever. That's when they move more or look more. Or,
You know, I've thought about that a long time. You know, like up there in the what do you call it? Up in there in Neil's area. You know where?
area 2 OR.
Yeah, that
White
one
Rock.
big, yeah. They I thought, you know, up in there, you know, as well as I do, every time you go out there, we're being shadowed big time, you know.
Every
And
time.
I thought that'd be kind of cool to go up there sometime and just like I've got my full ghillie suit from the military, and you know, just put that ghillie suit on, take it out there with me, and just stop somewhere and put that ghillie suit on and just sit there and stay there, and let the rest of the group go on by and just see what follows you.
Yeah, that's exactly.
And maybe something just walk right by you, never see you.
Matthew used to go with us on our Bigfoot stuff and everything. That's the same thing he wants to do. Just to he either go out there beforehand and we walk by to where he's going to be or you're going to be with a ghillie suit on and let us go on by and see what is shadowing or following her.
Yeah. Maybe even 2 people out there posted out like that. You know,
Yeah.
I think that'd be up in that area, especially. Man, that place gave you this. Yup. I wish you could be up there, Barry, and see that, BC. Them places they're something else.
Yeah.
But you
We
just
got a big bluff a couple miles from the house here. Used to be the coyotes would get out back there at night, and there's a pretty good sized pack. And I mean, you talk about setting your hair on end, they get back on that bluff and just sing you a song
Hmm.
all night long. But then here 2 or 3 summers ago, it sounded like something got a hold of them back in there. And I ain't seen a coyote in these parts since.
That happened. Friend of mine up at Mountain Home, Billy Walker. He said that they used to have them all around the lake there where he lives, right on the lake, and you couldn't let your animals out or nothing because you'd have so many coyotes. And then one summer, all going into fall, he said it sounded like something just was ripping them up every night. And then all of a sudden, there hadn't been no coyotes in years.
Well, it's just one night. It went on for about a half an hour. You just heard fewer and fewer coyotes and whatever else was mixed in with them until all you heard was whatever else was out there.
Yeah. Well, you know that night when Thomas and I was up there standing guard all night long, and we heard stuff, and I wished somewhere I know that's got to be on some of that audio. But
at Sillamore.
Yeah, and it sounded like and I was like, boy, listen to them coyotes. And Thomas says, that's coyotes dying. I said, yeah. I mean, it sounded like they were getting torn up down in there.
Like I said, there's a difference between baying and howling when they start screaming. It's a whole different noise. And once you hear that screaming, you realize something's going on down in that holler or along that bluff. And there wasn't no gunshots, nothing like that. I mean, it was, like I said, it was kind of a creepy experience. Sat out there on the deck and listened to it.
That's one of the reasons, since it's dried up down there at Ball Nom and everything. I think when we went last year, it was just a little bit later than this. But this time of year on till fall, they go to them lower areas like that, where because it's cooler and the water's still there. Up in the higher places, they may not. This year they're a little bit lucky. We've got a rain every now and then, but last year the only place you're gonna find water is in a low spot like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's still plenty of water down there.
And
we're going through another one of them periods here where you can't even find roadkill. You don't see nothing laying dead alongside the road. No. The other day, Mom tends to feed the stray cat instead of letting him do his job and catch his own dinner.
Yeah.
But the buzzards were out there eating the cat food.
Wow.
So that's pretty bad when buzzards can't find nothing to eat. They got to come up here. Right in the yard, right next to the house, I walked around. 2 great big old turkey buzzards come flying up. They was out there eating cat food where they couldn't find nothing to eat. So that's pretty bad when a buzzard can't find nothing to eat.
Yeah, it is.
I've always found that strange too when we have these stretches where there ain't no roadkill. Well, I seen that one deer on trail cam. That's all I had. It hit a couple birds. It's just like everything's vamoosed or something's taking it, eating everything that don't eat it first or something.
Yeah, we have times around here in the year it seems like all the game moves in, then they all move out. And it didn't used to be that way. Once you was in the area, I mean, you could put like deer. Then you could feed them year round, and you'd had them there all the time. But now, I mean, it don't matter. Sometimes it's just everything's gone. So
that's the way it is here.
Dale's run into that up there on the mountain there. It's just like the game move in and out.
Yeah, I've got all kinds of pictures of deer just walking through like nobody's business. Then all of a sudden, there's not a deer on the place. I mean, it's crazy.
Well, there was a time a few years back, it was nothing for me to get up in the morning or Mom walk outside. There'd be deer or wild turkey, either one, in the yard. Standing there looking at you when you walk out. Not now.
Well, just an arrow shot to me.
Makes you think and wonder. I mean, they're leaving for some reason. Something's either after them or
Either after them or already got them.
Yep.
Well, somebody suggested me, said something or somebody's poisoning them. I said, well, if they was poisoning them, I'd find bodies.
Mm-hmm. You'd see a lot of buzzards.
Yeah. That's one of them things, like more questions than there is answers.
Talking about questions, we got one that popped up here. It says, what do you think is their main food source? That's just like us. It's different
Opportunity.
Yeah.
Like I said, anything that don't eat them first.
Mm-hmm. That's what I think too. I do believe at certain times, like opportunity, if it's in bloom, they're going to be eating that mostly. You know, like strawberries or blackberries, But I think they can eat meat or they can eat vegetables, leaves, whatever's out there that's they can get a hold of.
Opportunistic omnivores.
Yeah.
That's the word, omnivore.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They'll eat it alive, eat it dead.
Yeah.
Like you said, plant, mineral, or animal, it don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Wendell's this link for this StreamYard, is it on the Arkansas Bigfoot Cartel?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I put
That's
all
like
of
I
them
think.
this evening.
I just had somebody ask me about it, and I think, yeah, it's there.
I think that's a reason in a given area you'll have a lot of activity over a period, a lot of sightings, and then it'll drop off to nothing. I think they've almost extinguished their food source and they have to move.
Yeah.
And then they go somewhere else, and when they wear the food source out, they come back or go somewhere else. Because a creature that size would have to eat almost nonstop.
There's the presence of an alpha predator too. You know, I mean that area up there around Sillamore, I've never seen forest get so quiet so quickly. Not even a bug. Just
shoot.
I think everything around, even the bugs, know when they're in the area, and they just leave or try to get out of there.
Yeah, I was going to say we have that happen here in broad daylight. You'll be out in the yard, and it's almost so quiet it hurts your ears. Like you said, no insects, no birds.
Mm-hmm.
Deafening silence.
Yeah, deafening silence. Like I said, it almost hurts your ears. It's so quiet. You
Yeah.
hear a frog fart in a pond 3 miles down the road if one would. And that ain't natural in broad daylight. I mean, something should be moving. Something should be making noise. Squirrels, birds, something.
Yeah, Wendell left me that night to go get those other guys out there in Tullamore. And I tell you what, them woods went quiet, and I was like, oh, boy. My dog come got between my legs and sat there under my legs in front of the chair.
Yeah.
Well, last November, you remember last November, everything got quiet except for that one locust, which was close to us. But everything else went dead quiet. Birds and insects both.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sure did.
That's an eerie feeling.
I was going to say, if you ever notice in your woods, there's 2 birds that will give you location away more than any other. A blue jay and a crow. They will literally follow you. They'll stop in a tree above you and sit there and call and carry on. Everything in the woods knows where you're at thanks to the crows and the blue jays.
Mm-hmm.
Sure will.
And I've heard when the crows go silent, that's when I get nervous. Because I don't know if anything will shut them up.
It definitely does in them 2 areas.
Yeah. They're afraid of something and it ain't me.
As far as the smell and everything of them, over at Dale's area and then Oart's the only 2 places that I've really they've been overpowering pungent. But the other places I've been, it's not been that maybe I hadn't been as close to them in other areas, but that Dale's definitely coming off that mountain. You can smell it, and that OR.
Mm-hmm.
I smelled something a handful of times, but never when I had any other kind of activity. There's one time I've heard people describe it. It's like you walk into a wall of smell, and then you walk right out of it.
Yeah.
I was walking along, and it hit me, and I walked probably not 15, 20 yards further up through there. Couldn't smell a thing. Turned around, went back to where I smelt it. It was still there. And it was rank, whatever it was. I mean, it almost gagged you.
I'm still wondering if they can turn that on and off whenever they want to.
I think they almost have to be able to for it to be able to be that centered or focused or local. Like I said, 15 yards down the trail, you don't smell a thing. You walk back up there, you feel like you're standing on top of a dead wagon.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like they can project their scent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the closest I could ever describe it, what I smelt a time or two, have you ever been around a laundromat when they let the nasty, dirty water out of the washers? That god-awful reek of that stale, stagnant water.
Yeah.
It's about the closest thing I could compare it to. Everybody else compares it to something dead or something rotten in the sun, but it reminded me of that.
I know up here it smells like rotten potatoes and skunk mixed together. And it just, nothing else smells like that.
Yeah, it don't smell just like that. Like I said, that's just closest I can come to. Just the worst smell you've ever smelled in your life times 10.
Yeah. Yeah, I can go out there, you know, when the wind's coming out of the south, and every once in a while you're like, yep, he's there, you know. It's just.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if they can't even somehow mimic or project more than they're seeing out sounds and stuff. Because, like you said, you hear a sound from one direction, then you don't hear anything to indicate that whatever made it move, and all of a sudden the sound's coming. Say if it started on the left, all of a sudden it's coming from the right or behind you or up ahead of you. It's like I never heard anything move around me, so I had it either it got from point A to point B somehow, or there's more than one of them.
Yeah, you're never alone out there. Never. Always more than one.
I think there's a small number around here, maybe 4 or 5 at the most, but that's plenty.
Yeah, it's very rarely if you catch one by itself or whatever, it's unusual because there's always at least 2 of them around or more.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if it ain't like with wolves and some other animals, if they got a troublemaker in the pack or tribe, they kick them out.
That happens, yeah.
So if you ever did run into one that was truly on its own, that would probably be dangerous.
Yeah.
And he's not going to behave, or he's diseased, or he's a mental case or whatever. So yeah, I think running into one just by itself would probably be a pretty dangerous proposition.
Yeah, they're probably more dangerous, but on the other hand, I guess that would be your best chance if you're one of these gung-ho guys. I'm going to take one down. You have a better chance of taking a solo one down like that and making it back to talk about it. Because once you got him, you're in the clear. Like we said, if there's 3 or 4 others around, you might get one of them, but you ain't going to get all of them.
Right.
But, then I wonder if they hear the gunshots, if they're not going to come running just to keep you from taking that out and exposing them.
That's exactly what I mean. You might get one, but like I said, you ain't going to make it back to talk about it.
Well, I don't know if any of y'all are familiar with Matt Squatch Presents, but he kind of covered this in one of his videos, and he said the thing to do if you had the time and the implements is to get a foot, a hand, and the head. You wouldn't have to take the whole thing if you just got a foot, a hand, and the head.
Well, yeah, because how are you going to pick up an 800, 1,000-pound body and lug it out of the woods?
No, you're not.
Having machinery.
But again, if they're close enough where they can get to you, they ain't going to let you out with that.
exactly. I was going to say, especially if you got 2 or 3 more of them breathing down your neck,
Yep.
you ain't lugging the whole body out of there.
No, you're probably not even going to be able to hack off some pieces before they got there.
I wouldn't even try for a whole hand or foot or head. I'd try to get hair, skin, blood. Just a piece of skin with hair and blood on it. Drop it in a Ziploc bag.
A few fingers.
What's that?
A few fingers.
Yeah.
Whatever you get or whatever, and I've talked to people, and that's why their whole show was ended. If you do get anything, you better be very careful of who you give it to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because you're going to get a visit.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say take it directly to a television station, but, there might be some protocols in there for them that, hey, if something like this comes up, we don't do anything until we talk to the government. So,
Yep.
I really wouldn't know who you could take it to. If you knew where Melba Ketchum was, maybe her, but that would be not the only one.
Meldrum, maybe Cliff Barkman, somebody like that, but
yeah,
getting it to them.
Exactly.
For 2 reasons. Things get lost in the mail. Well, I'll say lost.
Yeah.
Parentheses.
You'd have to hand deliver it.
Yeah, and if you're people like them, I'm sure you get 50 phone calls a day. Hey, I've got Bigfoot DNA, hair, skin, whatever.
Right.
And 49 of them are probably BS.
I think she's supposed to release her findings in the not too distant future.
Oh, yeah, she's got a second study going on, and the critics are all over already before she even releases it. It's worse than the last time.
Yeah, supposedly there's I think on one of Scott Carpenter's videos mentioned that she's also got some dogman DNA analyzed. And
that's
he's
the only
not
thing about Dogman that kind of irks me. We
What's
have
that?
enough trouble proving one cryptid's real. When you start
think
trying
that-
to prove 3 or 4 are real,
Well-
Dogman, Mothman, Bat Squatch, whatever, I understand why some of the critics and people, that's just muddy in the water.
Well,
If you can prove one's real,
but if there's more out there, then there's more out there. I mean, and I do believe that there is Dogman, and I believe because I know of at least 2 Mothman type sightings. We all saw what we saw down there at Hurricane Lake. We know what that was.
I'm not doubting they're out there. I'm just saying.
Right.
Sometimes I think the cryptozoological world needs to rein itself in and get the smoking gun.
Prove one first, but which one?
Get the smoking gun. Okay, if this is real, why ain't the rest of it real?
But on the other
years
hand,
ago when they found the giant squid, they swore it down. It wasn't real until they laid one in front of them.
Well, conversely, though, if you go after and you start trying to get irrefutable proof of different cryptids, then somebody may get lucky and actually be able to bring something in and get it to the right people. So there's that as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. I've always said it's better to be lucky than good.
Yeah. It'd probably take more luck than skill to get any kind of that kind of proof, especially a body or body parts or whatever. And then again, you're going to have certain people that's not going to want that to get out. So
it's going to be an uphill battle, however you go about it.
Right.
We've already discussed this. We're going to have at least 5 to 7 different people that'll let's say on the same day, whatever evidence we have, take it to different news agencies or people we pre-authorized and at the exact same time during the day, on that day, and have it go everywhere.
That's when social media would be your best friend. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter.
Flood all of that. Where there's just so much out there, they can't bottle it. They can't bottle it all up.
Pull up in the Walmart parking lot with a camera and about 10 of your buddies and go live.
Yep.
Strapped across the hood and go to the local restaurant.
Yeah. And even then, I guarantee you ain't going to be live long before the black Suburbans start pulling up. But
Oh yeah.
We done experienced that in in our one area. That's one of the reasons that Neil's been researching other areas, and I'm the only one that knows about that because we've had all kinds of. Well, one of the investigations, I don't know if it was the last one, but the one before, we had all of our cameras, batteries exploded. I mean, it was just crazy stuff that was happening. We had a gyrocopter that come right over our Bigfoot camp.
Hovering right over us.
Yeah, and at the entrance there was a Mustang and another truck that sat there, but we had seen black SUV come pulling out, and this is a national forest where they shouldn't be. A $90,000 rig don't supposed to be down in the national forest.
No, not unless they want to get some scratches.
Yeah.
Like I tell people, I don't want to sound like the crazy conspiracy guy. When I was outside the other day, and within an hour, 3 or 4 real small little single engine airplanes went over, 2 or 3 helicopters. I looked at Mom, I said, did somebody build an airport around here I didn't know about without me noticing? I said, what's all this air traffic doing out here in the middle of God's country, middle of nowhere? I mean, we've got a private single small jet flight club or gang or whatever you want to call them up in Santa Ana, but
Right.
for all of them to be crossing the same area within an hour of each other, plus helicopters, I was like, what is going on here?
Mm-hmm.
Are y'all looking for something or see something that I don't? Or are you watching me? Or
Did any of y'all watch The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch?
I watched the first season.
I watched everything but this last season. I've been trying to watch it, but nobody in my. Every time I get to the TV, somebody else has done got it. So I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna binge watch it this over the 4th of July.
Yeah, same thing happens to them, or at least what you see on TV is that whenever they're doing something or something weird happens, then they've got helicopters, aircraft that's not transponding start flying over.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I always kind of laugh because, like I said, I don't know that that's got anything to do with me or Bigfoot or anything else. But it's like I got one of them stupid telephone calls not too long ago. The United States Treasury Department has a warrant out for your arrest. I said, well, who do y'all think I am? John Dillinger? You think I knock a bank or a train over? I hung up on it, but I got a kick out of it. It's just like, the United States Treasury Department's looking for me.
If they was looking for you, they done you done. By the time you knew it, you'd done be on the ground.
Well, like I said, that's another instance. I'd look up, there'd be 2 or 3 black SUVs out front, and about 6 great big guys in not Bigfoot monkey suits, but monkey suits with shades and, like you said, shotguns. The Treasury Department don't call you up before they come knocking on your door.
No, they're not going to do that. They just show up.
Yeah. If you're that wanted, they're just going to show up and get you.
Like I said, the Treasury Department in general, that ain't small potatoes there. It's, like I said, that's John Dillinger territory there.
Sure
Yeah.
Is.
I guess Neil can't get signal or something, huh?
That's what he posted on there. Him and Braden's going to have a little baby, him and his girlfriend. So they were at his family reunion, which ain't too far from White Rock Mountain. But Braden said that somebody in his family had been having activity over there, so they was going to go check a new area somewhere between White Rock Mountain and what we call Area 2. And I guess that's where they're at this evening. He said he can't get signal, so.
Yeah. I hope he gets some video.
Yeah,
I'll be back in a minute. I'm going to go check on Mom real quick.
All right.
Well, I did hear of a UFO sighting that happened a couple of weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she said the girl said it looked almost like a comet with a trail, but something triangular either sprouted out the back or was ejected out the back and just kind of just flew around and just flew off. She didn't have a camera, but she did have a witness with her. So
the same way with that deal that flew over here over my dad's house. It did it 3 times. This
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
In June, and that's 3 different times we've seen it, and it seems to got bigger each time. And
that's weird.
Kind of like a triangle, like you said, but the bottom of it kind of just gets pulled out longer and longer each time. So, and it's been there for hour or 2 at a time. That's what's weird. And then all of a sudden it's just gone. I've had all my neighbors here look at it and nobody seems to know what it is. I had a couple people comment on my deal that said it's the Venus that you can see the star in the west. And I'm like, well, if it is, it's the lowest star I ever seen. And it moved. So I don't think that's it. So I don't know. If it comes
like
up,
they told me that day, oh, it's the ISS. I don't know, it's not. ISS don't fly over the top of this mountain. I'm pretty sure, you know.
Sounds about like that when I mentioned a couple episodes ago. I thought it was the moon till I looked over my older shoulder and realized the moon was in the other direction.
Uh-huh. So if it comes back again, I've been looking this last week. It hadn't been back, but if it is, my other cousin that's next door here, it's got a big old telescope. We're going to zoom in on it. Try to take some pictures of it. But it looks like it's too low to even be the ISS space station.
I have one on analog, the old analog tape like that. And it's funny. I was just out there one night. I was just screwing around with it, and you know, it's been a long time since I used it. It's got a real good zoom and everything on it. And I was just out there. I was just talking away. I was like, "Well, I'm going to come out here and film me a UFO tonight, and I'll be darned." just like what was in your picture.
Yeah.
And I've got like maybe 20 minutes of that thing, just staying in one spot. Just getting closer and then getting further away, get closer and I never have gotten around to putting that on digital, but I'd like to do that sometime.
What you got going on, Barry?
The back motion security lights going on and off.
Huh.
The one we saw the green lights in the window that night.
Yeah.
It shines right in the same window. When I walked in there and looked on Mom, I come back in here. It was on. There it is.
There it is again.
Yeah, I saw it.
Can you see it?
Yeah, I seen it come on. Now you got your camera in there.
I ain't got a camera near it right well. One around the bend on the other end of the yard, and then one's across over by the barn. Something whatever's setting it off could wander in front of it.
Definitely.
I ain't got one back there right now. Close. The only reason made me notice it, like I said, I walked back around the corner, it was on, and then Dale was talking about talking it up. I'm going to see a UFO, and lo and behold, how many times does this make it? We sit here and talk about this stuff, my lights start going off.
That's
and 9 times out of 10, I could run back there and look out that window, and all I do is wake Big Bo Seavis up because I can't see nothing. Whatever it is fast, whatever it is.
Yeah, we definitely know they're fast.
Now, I didn't hear anything when it was on, but that don't mean nothing either. Because how many stories we heard about an 8-foot tall, 1,000-pound Sasquatch that didn't make a sound when it walked up on somebody?
Mm-hmm.
More questions than answers.
Definitely run into a lot of them. That remind anybody got any questions out there before we end up our time here? Just go ahead and send them, and we'll try to answer them. We only had one question tonight, and only one viewer so far.
If it wasn't for you all, I think the Bigfoot world would forget all about me because I don't ever have time to do a podcast anymore. But I might be better off if the Bigfoot world would forget all about me. But if Bigfoot would forget all about me.
Well, luckily, the last few podcasts we've been doing good as far as internet and everything. I don't know what's happened, or they just quit listening on us or whatever, because everybody's been able to get good signal pretty much, except Neil. But it's understanding up there where he's at in them mountains.
Oh yeah.
I was going to ask y'all something about UFOs. I know everybody saw it. The one in, I think it was Vegas, or something fell out of the sky, and then the family had two creatures in their backyard.
Backyard, yeah, and then looking over the fence.
Yeah.
Yeah, I seen that. The fence is tall fence, and the guy said it stood and just looked over the fence.
I just wonder what everybody thought about that. I'm kind of on the fence about it. It seemed like it all, but the fact the police officer said he saw something fall or crash out of the sky right before it happened, it seems almost too good to be true, but that's how it is.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like with Ketchum. I mean, she could come out with the best evidence in the world, and there's people that'll start screaming before she even announces it that it ain't no good. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they got to disinform, before anybody else can hear it. They got to discredit it so that it can't nobody believe it, even if it is real.
Yeah.
That's like that video I posted today on the cartel of that one. Unless that's for a movie somewhere or somebody, if that's the actual video, it'd be nice to be able to talk to the lady that filmed it.
Oh yeah.
That's the arms are just huge and massive, and they're longer than what any normal person would be or anything.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. I like that.
It was interesting. Like you said, it's either top-notch special effects or it's real.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to become a problem too with AI. I mean,
yeah,
we've all seen these AI pictures popping up. And now some of them so goofy. I mean, if you believe that, I'll sell you some oceanfront property in Arizona. But the ones that show them standing side by side with humans and they're 15 foot tall, using a walking cane and everything else. I got two motion lights on now. One back of the house and one on the side here by the kitchen's going on and off.
I'll get a better view of you, Barry.
Yeah, they want to know what's going on. That happened that night we was there at Dale's. They come right down to the other side of the building. That's crazy.
That's the biggest I've ever seen.
It's enough to make you wonder.
I know what happened. Like Clint said, they just followed that wire right down the hill, right to where it went, and was wanting to know what was going on.
It's a head scratch. Whatever they are, they can move faster than me because every time I get out there, they're gone by the time I get there.
Yep. Oh, what was it? About 55 feet per second or something like that?
Yeah.
Pretty quick.
Well, that's another thing I heard the other day. It was Doug Hydecheck that did Monster Quest on his podcast. People were fussing. Well, everybody's got a camera in their pocket now. Why don't we have more better pictures? And he explained to him, he said, your cameras and your phones are good for taking selfies. They're not good for taking pictures at long range at something that's moving and moving fast. That's when you're going to get blurry, digitalized messes. People just don't understand.
First thing you do anyway is kind of sit there and stare in disbelief at what you're even seeing. Last thing you're thinking about is taking a picture of the thing.
Oh, yeah. Well, that one took off through the trees. What I still to this day, nobody ever convinced me it was anything else. I didn't get a real good look. Like I said, I had a camera in my hand. I never thought to lift it up and start filming. And the whole thing maybe lasted 15 seconds.
Yeah, it's unless like Robert Scott or Thomas, if you ain't got a camera that's already filming while you're just out there and able to hold that much footage, 9 times out of 10 you ain't gonna get it because your emotions ramp up, your actions, its actions, and the distance. Even if you do get something, it's like it's going to be. It's blurry and
Yeah.
just not good evidence.
Well, I challenge anybody, take the best smartphone you can find, have a buddy go to a football field, have your buddy walk out to about the 50-yard line and wave at you. Take a picture. It might be decent at best at 50 yards, but have him go to the far end zone at 100 yards. See how good of a picture or video you can get of him on a smartphone.
You might get a shape.
Yeah. Everybody's always hollering, smartphones are as good as the cameras that National Geographic uses. No, they're not. They're not anywhere close. Those cameras, if you can afford them, is what you need because they're actually designed to shoot at distance. They're wide lens, wide angle, and designed to capture motion. Literally designed especially for nature photography. Your cell phone ain't.
Nope. That's back to the ghillie suits and everything. We need that the next time we are out in one of our areas. We've tried over and over, and it's still the best plan to actually have them either follow you by a camera or you push them by a camera. That's the best way to get activity, unless you got somebody just sitting out there while all this is going on. I think that's our best plan. We need to implement that the next investigation.
Yeah.
Well, I saw a comment in a group somewhere. It says all the encounters that take place with hunters in tree stands. The best idea may be to go out there and climb up in the tree stand, which how long are you going to sit there? I mean, a day maybe, but I don't know anybody's going to sit in a tree stand for 3 or 4 days hoping a Sasquatch will wander by.
Not everybody. I know a few people. Robert probably would. Branham. Yeah. He's actually built a kind of wood shelter and got inside of it and waited out for 2 or 3 days.
That's all right. You got that kind of time.
Yeah. Well, y'all got any further comments? We've passed our hour here, and we got like 5 minutes, and we got to start paying. So.
Yeah.
Nothing, but you've got the latest I have. So
yeah, and like I said, after the 4th, I'll see what my schedule is, and I'll get a hold of you, BC, and Dale, and probably let Robert know. And it probably just saying, hey, this Saturday I'm free. Y'all free? We'll show up Saturday evening and stay.
Yeah, I'm game. I'm ready to go back up there.
Yeah, I'm ready to get in there.
See if we can get another log thrown at us.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I've got a new patch of audio I'm going to listen to. I just started it the other day and something happened. I didn't get. But as soon as I turned it on, couldn't have been long after I took the audio recorder out there and put it up. I heard something sounded either like a hog grunting or almost like 8 gorilla.
Yeah.
So I'll have to go back and check that out.
I've heard that at Sillamore. Ask BC if you hear Robert. Ask him if he heard that one that night.
All right, I will.
Yeah. He was there at the Y of the creek, and he said, "You hear that?" I said, "Yeah, I heard that." And then we ended up, actually, yeah. I mean, we had 2 shake a tree that was there, and ended up having to get out of there.
Oh yeah.
All right, fellas, we've come to the end of this month's podcast, and if we have any new information. Somewhere around the 23rd of July, we'll get back with y'all and have another podcast. Like I said, we're hoping to get over to Ball Knob here. May not be a full investigation, but at least we'll get some new information and see what we need to do from there, and have a 4 or 5 person team investigation over there. I'll just go around here and let start with Barry and have closing comments. It'll be Barry and BC, and then Dale Scout. All right.
Just God bless everybody. Have a good time and good life. Keep the faith. Hang in there. Everything will get better eventually. Appreciate
Amen.
you watching. Appreciate you having me. I think after we're not live, I might get up here and sneak out back. That light just keeps going off. And curiosity might kill the cat, but
Yeah.
satisfaction might bring him back too.
Right. Anytime you want to get down to that Cadron area, Wendell, give me a holler.
All right, I will.
Well, y'all have a good one. And if I have anything pass along, as always, I'll pass it along. Y'all take care. Be careful out there.
Thanks, BC.
All right. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for being on here tonight. Maybe we'll have more people next week or next month.
All right.